or because classes right now are online, so you can literally take them from anywhere on campus. So people like sitting here, and just there's a lot of evening breeze that happens here, and there's a good city view which you can get, so people like sitting here. This is what the library looks like. We usually go to the library because only majorly to work. You can't really chill or talk there. So yeah, the library is somewhat like this, and this is the city of Abu Dhabi. So outside of the campus, there's a lot of stuff that, because to actually experience living in Abu Dhabi, you have to like go outside of the campus. And Abu Dhabi is a major cultural hub. There's a ton of culture. There's a ton of different things usually happening in city throughout the year. So this is what the city looks like. The beach is like 10 minutes away, so it's always fun to go there. And yeah, okay, so yeah, that was all of my stuff. If you guys are interested in actually like applying to NYU AD or knowing any of like more details about that, I actually make YouTube videos about this. And if you guys want to look at like my experience in living at NYU AD, or all of my extracurricular activities that I did, or my academics, I've made videos about that. So you can look that up. My YouTube channel is called Aksharap, and you can search that on YouTube. So yeah, that was all for my presentation, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Akshat. I hope that there are students who have set their dreams to continue their studies in New York University, and also have the interest to study in computer science and also engineering. Thank you so much for the sharing. I hope that that your presentation can give something to the others. So I would like to continue with our third speaker, which is a civil engineering student from Hacettepe University, Ankara, Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Zainab Oskin to take the platform.
I was muted, I'm sorry. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Zeynep Özkan, and I am 18, and I am the representative of Turkey, as Akita said, and I am really excited to hear other participants and share my knowledge. Thanks for having me here today. I will first like to talk about my achievements over the course of 7 years. I won't read all of it out loud, but I would like to talk about the mini internships I did in 2018, which were encouraged by my high school for us to choose our career better. They are all related to medicine, as you can see, and because I initially wanted to become a doctor, but after seeing an open brain surgery up close at Ankara University Numune Hospital, I decided to be an engineer. Now I would like to talk about STEM in Turkey. When we say STEM in Turkey, most people think of TÜBİTAK, which is a major scientific and technological research council formed in 1963. They deal with energy, chemistry-related projects, environmental and marine sciences. They develop softwares for informatics. They also give scholarships to students. And for example, Aziz Sanchar, who I will talk about in a second, was able to go to America to study at Johns Hopkins University with a TÜBİTAK scholarship. We also have TAEK, which focuses on nuclear energy. But the most important companies are Aselsan, Havelsan, and Roketsan, which are government companies dealing with military technologies. Regarding STEM, Turkey is highly developed in defense industry, and what we are trying to be better at is space technologies. We already have TürkSat, which sends satellites, but we are trying to develop new projects. Also, one of the most important STEM achievements we have as a country is Aziz Sancar winning a Nobel Prize with two other scientists in 2015 on their works on how cells repair their damaged DNA. And now I would like to talk about engineering in Turkey in general. Turkey is a developing country, and nowadays there are three popular professions to choose from, which are law, medicine, and engineering. I can say that engineering out of these three has the highest demand since you can have many options. Just like problem solving, presentation skills, and time and pressure management, they are all important, but the main problem in Turkey is, I think, teamwork and communication because of the rivalry in the country. I will talk that in a minute. So if you can work with others, you should be fine. Out of all the engineering fields, the highest demand is for electrical and computer engineering because the public thinks that they are the jobs for the future and the development of the country, since we are in the era of technology. But the main issue with engineers in Turkey is that there are lots of universities, and every year countless engineers graduate. In order to succeed, you have to graduate from a relatively better university than others. You should know English. I mean, that's not even an argument, but if you can, you should learn at least one more language next to that. For example, I'm learning Italian right now. Also, while graduating, you have to make sure that you have a minor or a double major. For example, in the second year, if I'm chosen, I will be able to study environmental engineering as a minor, and they choose you according to your GPA. So, civil engineering in Turkey, civil engineering in general is as old as humans because it deals with civilizations. After people started to settle and abandon the nomadic life, without the name it has today, civil engineering was born. People needed houses, roads, and bridges, and they built it with primitive skills. And in Turkey, people don't realize the importance of this field and how integrated it is with daily life. Sometimes they don't even know the difference between an operator and a civil engineer. Operators are the people who are qualified to use the construction machinery, whereas I am the person who calculates the pressure of the water on the walls of the dam, for example. They are very different areas. Another problem is gender. People still have prejudice against women as engineers, let alone being a civil engineer. Of course, it's not like women belong to the kitchen level, but we are still underestimated because engineering, and especially civil engineering, is considered to be manly. For example, sometimes people ask me what I'm studying, and when I say civil engineering, they look at me as if I'm crazy. They say, "Oh, but you're tiny," as if my height and muscles, which are related to my gender, have something to do with me learning physics. Right now, one of the most important issues in Turkey is the amount of unemployed university graduate young people. But I am not afraid that I won't be able to find a job because there's always a construction going on in Turkey, whether it's at the corner of the street or it's a massive dam. You can also see the sub branches there in orange. There are lots of options to choose from to have a specialty in. If you don't like transportation engineering, where we deal with highways, railways, or pipelines, you can always go for hydraulics, where we deal with water and its behavior. And here I have listed some of the projects. Some of them are completed and some of them are not, but they are all very serious projects. For example, Artvin Yusufeli Dam is the tallest dam in Turkey, and the construction is about to end. Civil engineers are involved in every step of the process, but if I had to specify, we are the people who are responsible from the workers and operators who actually built the dam. And of course, we do some calculations and check the tests done regarding determining what kind of concrete mixture is going to be used. We direct the workers to do their job the right way. Istanbul Airport is the biggest international airport in Europe, and the construction was really challenging because of the site. The site chosen had some places under the sea level and needed to be filled. Also, the climate of Istanbul changes rapidly and drastically. There is a constant risk of flooding when it rains. So the funds were exceeded a bit, but the project was completed in time. Here, civil engineers are the people who decide the level of soil and the type of material to fill the spaces. For the sea bridges, an important thing to consider is liquefaction, and liquefaction is the case where the amount of loading on the soil reduces its ability to carry that load, or it can happen with an earthquake. It doesn't matter. Civil engineers check the abilities of the soil or the rock under the sea, the water, and determine if it is safe to build the bridge over there, for example. Izmir-Ankara high-speed train construction has just started, and even though we have many railways, we are now trying to build more high-speed ones because it takes a short amount of time to go somewhere with them, and they also reduce the fuel expenditures. Actually, my father is working on this project as a geological engineer, MSc, where he also collaborates with civil engineers. My father's job is to explain soil and rock mechanics, and if that rock is suitable to construct a railway on top, to civil engineers, and according to what my father says, they plan a project. Also, and the last project is the Eurasia Tunnel in Istanbul, which is built under the seafloor in order to split the traffic. It connects the Asian and European parts of the city. They dug the rocks and soil with a tunnel boring machine, aka TBM. And civil engineers took part in planning the stocking of the tunnel wall segments, and of course calculated and checked the concrete segments. And what did they check in those segments? The quality of the concrete, the thickness of the segment, or if the segment has enough reinforcement inside, like iron reinforcement bars. Now I would like to share some pictures with you. In these pictures, Artvin Yusufeli Dam and Eurasia Tunnel are not completed, but I wanted you guys to see the work. And now I would like to talk about the process of construction in Turkey. So there are project firms, as you can see here, who create the projects with the demands on needs of the government. They do all the work like calculations, planning, like where the project is going to take place or how long it's going to take, considering which material is going to be used. After that, they come up with a price and the bids open. This time, construction companies offer workers, equipment, and materials with a suitable price. Whoever has the best offers takes the job and starts the construction. I think it's an easy process. And my final points will be on my university. 2 years ago, it was ranked the first in Turkish universities. The reason would be the fact that it has many opportunities to offer to us, even though the university is run by the government and has less financial support compared to private universities. There are lots of laboratories, and I will talk about the campus life in depth in a minute. But compared to other universities, since Hacettepe has a big campus, it also has countless good quality dorms and houses students stay in. And we also have a full functioning hospital inside the campus. I myself have never experienced what it was like before the pandemic, but my friends say that lesson-wise it is not that different. In fact, the assignments and exams are stricter. Some students think that they get distracted more when it's online, but the teachers are trying their best to make the lessons as enjoyable as possible. And unfortunately, nobody is at the campus right now. I am even more sorry for myself because I have never had a class at the campus ever since I have started university. Most of the friends I've made this year are sad that they can't go because compared to other parts of Ankara, Hacettepe has a huge campus with a lot of breathing area. It is a tiny fort on its own. Many students I have spoken to miss chilling on the grass in between lessons. And there are countless libraries and cafes scattered all around the campus. There's a really big amphitheater generally used for ceremonies and sport opportunities like swimming pools, courts for tennis or basketball fields. There's also a football field with a huge racetrack around it. And there's a relatively new part in the campus, which is this massive building called Techno City. And there are different types of developers working in it for research purposes or construction firms in it. Lastly, there are student apartments for international or students or other people from Turkish cities, as I mentioned in the previous slide. In short, the life inside the campus is easy and cheap, so if you would like to, you could never get out and it would be totally fine. And compared to other departments in the university, civil engineering is still young, and the teachers are mostly young engineers who also have experience working at various project firms, which is a plus in my opinion because they all know the new methods and the new technologies used right now. And the generation gap between me and them are not that big, so they understand our problems better than some professors. As I said before, our main goal is to be the best since there are more than enough engineers in Turkey. And in order to achieve that, Hacettepe teaches you Python, and for civil engineers, we also have AutoCAD. Also, in your last year, you have to complete a summer practice, 20 days in the office and 20 days in the field. I can easily say that this is what makes a project firm choose a Hacettepe graduate. Other than that, you can see the course list there that you can choose for yourself in the last 2 years of school. You have to choose at least two or three from this list and decide which way of civil engineering you can go. Since civil engineering has lots of sub branches, Hacettepe tries to show you most of it and guide you. And lastly, to further develop yourself, you can become a member of a student society. There are 152 of them, so I couldn't write them all here. But to list a few, we have Aikido Club, Anime Manga Club, Writing Club, Translators Club, Archery Club, Quidditch Club, Far East Language and Culture Club, Space Exploration Club, and even Yoga Club. Yeah. Thank Okay. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Zainab. That was an insightful session. I think that the participants are able to open their minds about civil engineering and probably will consider to study civil engineering in the future, you know? And I would like to say the campus at Hachita University is very mesmerizing. It's really wonderful. It's really beautiful. I'm kind of interested to visit there one day. Maybe, probably, if we be able to. So thank you so much for sharing, ladies and gentlemen. Now we would like to invite Saifuddin, Saifuddin Soliman Magori from Egypt to provide us with his insights. For everyone's information, Saif is planning to major in mechatronics at Nile University, Egypt.
Hello, everybody. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, hello, everybody. My name is Saifuddin. I'm a freshman at Nile University in Egypt. I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. I'm gonna tell you guys, right? A second. I was planning to be a mechatronics engineer, and actually, it's a very unique major in engineering that nobody or almost so many people that doesn't know about. And I'm gonna talk about it today, tell you guys more about it. So first of all, I'm gonna present myself and tell you more about myself. My name is Saif. I'm 19 years old. I'm a fan of cars. Like I love cars really much. One of the things that changed my life and like changed actually whole my life that I get a scholarship from the U.S. Embassy in Egypt to be an exchange student in the U.S. 2017 2018. So I had a full year studying in high school in the US that actually changed all my life. Engineering in Egypt, I'm going to talk about engineering in Egypt. And as most of people know that Egypt from really old days, since the pharaohs and they built the pyramids, they were so special in engineering. So like they built the pyramids, and it's still a secret till now that nobody knows about it, how they build it. So like in engineering, we're really like kind of unique. So the most or like the types of engineering in Egypt, we have civil engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, chemical, architecture engineer, computer, petroleum engineer, aviation engineer, and industrial engineer. Um, I'm gonna talk about it right now. Like mostly the demand in Egypt right now, it's going through electric engineer and computer and mechanical engineer more than the petroleum. We used to be a high. We used to have a high demand in petroleum engineer in the past few years. But right now we're going through the future and having so many changes. So we started to have a good demand on the electronic and mechanical and the computer engineering. Also, like in Egypt right now in Aswan, south of Egypt, we have the highest solar energy panels in Egypt or like in Africa that make energy for like the countries and like that. So I'm gonna talk about right now about my university, Nile University, and the majors that we have and what's special about Nile University. We have the majors. We have mechanical engineer, civil, electronic, and computer engineer. It's like one major, industrial and architecture engineer. I'm gonna talk specifically about mechanical and mechanical engineer. We have the types of mechatronics, thermal and science energy, mechanical design, and power engineering. Uh, so what made me choose mechanical or like mechatronics than the other majors of engineering? For myself, I choose mechatronics because I find it a really collection and a really, as you can say, unique that it's not common in the world. It's really unique and combines all the majors like mechanical, electronic, and computer engineering. And I'm gonna tell you guys more about it right now. So as you can see, mechatronics, it's a combine between electronic, electric, mechanical, and engineering system, computer, and controlling. My father is an electronic engineer. My grandfather was an electronic engineer. So many of my friends are computer engineering. And the first year of engineering in Egypt, it's 5 years engineering in Egypt actually. You get to decide what major you want to be in the first year, in the second year, sorry. So like right now, I still in the freshman year, I didn't have to choose, but I decided to be a mechatronics. I thought about it so many times, sorry, that electronics engineer, I like it, and I like the circuits. I like how solar panel works. I like how electric works, and the computer. I like how the software, how they do software, the coding, and mechanical. I'm a more of a practical guy. I like to do stuff with my hands. I like cars. I like to do like stuff in the cars, upgrade it, stuff like that. I couldn't find nothing more than mechatronics to be my major, to be something I feel it. It's also like I was a fan of Marvel movies. If you guys know about it, Iron Man. Iron Man was a mechanical, and actually was like there was so many parts in the movies, mechatronics, controlling, and stuff. That's all these types in mechatronics. Mechatronics also used in a manufacturing, healthcare, space exploration, and in the tools that make your life easier. Like right now, so many stuffs in mechatronics make our life easier. You can make a robot move by your hand. You can make an arm for someone who doesn't have a hand or like have a disabilities. You can make him a robot arm that can help him in his life and like his life routine. Sorry. Also, in mechatronics, um, for my opinion, I think it's the new life beginning for the world. So like so many companies or so many factories that have like a toxic or a chemical diseases that can affect the human. I feel that if there is a robot can do the work of the human, can save the human life and not gonna affect him badly by like diseases or toxic in the lungs or cancer or all the stuff like that. So I feel, for my opinion, that if the robot or there is like a machine working instead of a human in toxic or chemical factories, gonna be helpful for the humanity. For my university, in our university, we have so many. We are like technical and practical university. So we have like engineering and applied science, business, information technology and computer science, biotechnology, and management of technology. NU is more like a practical university. Most of the stuff that we do it by our hands. We're not like theoretical universities like more the universities in Egypt. In our universities, we love to do our the projects by our hands. We love to create new things. Like here, as you can see in the slide, there's like a car. This car, we actually have a club in the university called RBM. It was like a race between the universities in Egypt. Most the universities in Egypt, that they have a race, and this car we have to make it by our hands. You can't buy it. You can't go to anyone make a car. You have like a team, and you guys have to make the whole car by yourselves. So here, like in the club, and I was actually with them. We made this car, and we actually got the first place in the universities in Egypt. And yeah, this car also doesn't have like a motor. It's working by batteries. So we're trying to save the more like the environment. And that's actually the how the campus looked from outside. We didn't have so many pictures because like our like coronavirus and the quarantine, so nobody actually go to the campus except like engineering if they have labs. So we only go in our labs time, and the lectures we take it online. So that's why it's really empty and look really sad from outside actually. But like from inside, I wish we had so many pictures, but sadly we don't. As I told you, NU is a practical university. Here's me and my team. We were working on a solar panel, a solar tube project that we used to make filterization for water. It was like a water with sand of water or salt. We used to make a filterization for the water to make it more healthy for the people who can drink it. And we actually, right now, I'm working on a project for a physics class to make a solar heater for water using the solar energy. And they're still working on it, but we don't have pictures because we didn't start on the project yet. But like we started the idea. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, guys. I'm really sorry because like I do it really fast because like I have a quiz like in another I think 30 minutes. I'm really sorry. Also, I have to leave. So if you guys have any question, you can text me or send me any message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm always here, and I'm also really sorry because like I have a quiz right now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Saif, for sharing something that many may not know about, like what mechatronic is and maybe about Nile University. So thank you so much for giving us something to ponder on. Let us now welcome the next speaker, who happens to be an electrical and computer engineering student at University of Texas at Austin, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Lee.
Hi everyone. Can you guys see my screen? I hope so.
Yes, we are.
Awesome, perfect. Okay. Good evening, guys. I think it's nighttime over there in Malaysia, but it is. Let's see what time. It is 9 a.m. here, and I woke up at 6:30. I'm outside next to the beach. I just finished school. I'm on vacation with my friends right now. They're inside sleeping, but that's why I'm wearing like sunglasses. But I'm really glad to be here. It's a great way to start off my day, listening to other guest speakers talk about their schooling experience and STEM. But yeah, oh my gosh, so sorry. My bad. But anyways, I'm the U.S. representative. My name is Ray. That is annoying. Hold on, sorry.
I think you are able to erase it.
Clear all drawings. There we go. Awesome.
Great.
So sorry about that. Anyways, yeah. So first, I'll talk a little bit about me, and then in my school, what I learned, and then like the opportunities for me as an ECE major, electrical and computing engineering major, and then the future prospect for STEM and engineering, and then like I'll show you guys a little bit about my campus lifestyle, my freshman year at UT Austin, and what it was like. But yeah. So about me, I'm 18 years old. I'm Chinese American, and I live in Houston, Texas. I am a second generation Chinese American. So my parents moved over from China after they graduated college like 20 years ago, in hopes of giving me and my sister a better life. But yeah, I can speak Chinese. My parents shoved me into Chinese school when I was really young. Yeah, next. I'm an ECE major. That's the abbreviation, at the UT Austin, University of Texas at Austin. And some of my hobbies are I love traveling. I love playing sports. I play a lot of basketball, a lot of volleyball. I listen to all types of music. Watch a lot of TV, so a lot of anime, K-dramas, and I like roller skating. And so you might have saw this program from Akshay, I think. This BP Global STEM Academy. It was like this month-long program in Brazil. And this is how I actually got to come talk to you guys today. So as you can see here, there's Ofa, the host of this event. And there's me, Akshat, also Renee here. She's coming up. But this is like 1 month in Brazil that I spent about STEM and like intercultural learnings. And it was really fun. This is how I met a bunch of these cool people. And so a little bit about my achievements. Honestly, don't have a lot of STEM achievements, not as much as some of the other guest speakers. They are really smart. But like main thing I did in high school was orchestra. I played the cello. And so I'll have a lot of stuff for that. In high school, I would say I had a pretty good SAT score, graduated at the top of my class, and then got to uni. And here I actually joined a business org, Asian Business Students Association, and I worked as a corporate relations director, which meant like I talked with corporate hosts and like drag people in to come talk to our members, and then joined some other orgs here. I'll talk about these later. And yeah, there's other stuff. I play a lot of video games. I'm diamond in Valorant, and there's a period of time where I ate McDonald's every day for 2 weeks, and I'm kind of proud of that. Next, UT Austin. So this is where I go to college. Here's the map of the U.S. It's right here. There's Houston, where I live. It's a 3-hour drive to Austin. Austin is the capital of Texas, just for some context. And yeah, UT Austin is a huge public research university. It's popular for engineering, which is my major, business, natural sciences, and social sciences. as you can see, it's like very diverse. A lot of Asians, a lot of Hispanics, a lot of white people, but it's honestly people from, with backgrounds from everywhere. People across the U.S., some out-of-state people, international people. It's a lot of different people on campus. It's founded in 1883 and it has over 50,000 students. So a little bit about Texas engineering. It's the School of Engineering is called Cockrell School of Engineering, and it has well over 10 different fields of studies that you can choose from. Here are the ones that are top 10 nationwide, or ranked top 10 nationwide. So there's a lot of good stuff going on in the school. But this is my major, electrical and computer engineering. And you guys saw this on Safe's presentation. There was an ECE major there, and there's one here too. And like how it works is a combination of hardware learning and software learning, and electrical engineering and computer engineering. Basically, it's like two majors shoved into one, and it's like what I said earlier, hardware versus software. What happens is you take classes in electrical engineering, so like circuits, resistors and capacitors, all that good stuff, circuitry, power. And then you also take classes in computing engineering, so stuff like software design, software engineering, computer architecture, all that good stuff. But you take some classes in both. This is my degree plan, my flow chart. As you can see, freshman year, I took intro to computing. This is all the computer stuff here. Intro to electrical engineering, this is electrical engineering stuff. And then there's a bunch of math classes, physics, the standard stuff you need for my major. And then after your first 2 years, so you take these. After your first 2 years, you have to select a technical component. So this is kind of like declaring your major, I guess. But here's a list of the stuff that I can choose from. Here, this is the most popular one, software engineering design. This is in essence computer science right here, what Akshat is doing. But there's a lot of other stuff I can choose from. Like on the electrical engineering side, there's communications, energy systems, renewable energy, nanotech, which I think Renee is doing right now. But one thing that I think that I want to do is energy systems and renewable energy. And I'll talk a little bit more here. So basically, right now in the US is a key player in energy systems, especially in oil and gas field. And then you guys know about global warming and all the transition to cleaner energy and stuff. The US is the largest exporter of oil and gas. US companies are. We import a lot of oil and gas. Our economy is built, especially in Texas, our economy is built on the oil and gas industry. But I think that we need to start going a lot more cleaner. And so I think it'd be really cool to ride the wave of engineers that, I guess spearhead that transition and to make renewable energy and like solar panels more accessible and more cheap for everyone to use. So that's kind of what I want to do. That's the direction I'm headed. But yeah, so in my major, graduates of my major are in high demand, especially in Texas. You can see there's software and hardware developers are projected to grow 22% in the next 10 years. And also because my major is encompasses a lot of different stuff, I have the flexibility to kind of choose which path I want to go down. So this is like you saw a similar graphic that Akshat, displayed, where there's a bunch of companies hiring for CS and software design, but there's also like Tesla and solar energy world that I could, potentially go down, or GE, General Electricity, and Texas Instruments, which is like circuitry, semiconductors, microprocessors, stuff like that. Yeah, and also you guys might have heard of Silicon Valley, which is in California, like where Steve Jobs, Apple is. But Austin is now known as the Silicon Hills, which is the area in Austin and surrounding Austin that has a lot of industries like high tech, enterprise, semiconductors, research and development, video games, music development, small businesses, restaurants, a whole bunch of stuff. Austin is known for its small businesses and like really unique food spots. And I think it's a characteristic of Austin that I really love. There's a saying called "Keep Austin Weird." And basically there's stuff in Austin that you can only have in Austin, like nowhere else in the world. Yeah. you can see there's a lot of venture capital money invested in Austin. But yeah, okay, so on to my campus lifestyle. UT is a huge campus, even in terms of like American size, American schools. This is the main icon of the UT, I guess, is the tower. Sorry, let me go back. Yeah, but UT is a huge school in terms of social activity. It is a big party school. As you can see, the football games is a huge thing to do at UT. There's this website that I thought was interesting that I want to show you guys. It's like stuff to do at UT. This is a tradition I want to highlight. It's called tailgating, where people on Saturdays, on game days for football, American football that is, people will sit around in like tents, and then they'll like bring their friends and like eat barbecue and stuff and camp out, and then they'll go watch the game. And then after the game, they'll like go downtown to bars and like drink the night away, regardless if we win or lose. It's a tradition that's very popular, but in Austin, I told you, there's a lot of small businesses, cafes, restaurants. We actually have a bowling alley, a lot of places to study, libraries, also a lot of facilities where you can work out and exercise and swim. And this is one thing I want to highlight is the student organizations. So I'll go back to the slides. Oh, so sorry. Oh no. 1 second. Sorry. There. Yeah, so student orgs. UT offers more than 1,100 student orgs. It is crazy how much stuff that they can think of. Some examples of the weirdest ones I've seen is like squirrel watching. We have a lot of squirrels, so there's a squirrel watching club. And there's also a turtle watching, like in the pond, there's a turtle pond, so people go and watch the turtles for some reason. But it's a great way. I think it's the best way to actually get connected, make friend groups, because the UT, population is so big. There's a lot of stuff that, there's a lot of people that you will never meet unless you have like a similar interest. And this is what orgs are for. So for example, I grew up in a large Asian community in the US. And so my freshman year, I sought out like big Asian centric orgs. So like Texas Asian Business Students Association. Even though I wasn't business, I still found like a place in this org, and like Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. Also Texas EPIC, which is a Asian Christian org. But yeah, this is what dorm life looked like, kind of. Dorms are very popular for freshmen at UT. It's very popular because it's just everything is centered around the dorm. So you have a gym right outside. There's a track, the dining hall. We have a Wendy's. I don't know. It's like an American. It's like fast food. A lot of stuff to do, and a lot of my friends are in the same dorm as me, and so that's how I got to meet a lot of them. So like we'll just crash each other's dorm. It's really fun. Yeah. These are the 2 gym centers that I was talking about. We have 2 facilities that host like a bunch of different sports, and you can come and play whenever you want. So this is me. I play a lot of volleyball. And one thing I want to highlight is intramurals here. It's like a good way to be competitive. And so you can just form a team, sign up for a league for any sport, and you can play on any level. And it's like very fun to do. Yeah. And so a deeper insight into kind of like my classwork. This is in my class that I took recently, Intro to Embedded Systems. And it is a combination of like coding and also making physical labs. And so also this is the engineering building that me and my roommate love to work in. So it's really nice. It has a bunch of resources for us to use. But yeah, this class is lab based. So like we have 10 labs throughout the year or throughout the semester. It builds on different stuff. Like for example, we had to do like simple circuitry and then add like LED lights and then sound converters and then LED interfaces and then like a bunch of different stuff. But this is a clip I want to show you. It's like we had to code a video game for our final project. We called it the Deep Sea Survival. And like basically you use a slide pot to move around. and then you shoot them. And if you don't shoot them, you lose. And also, you can choose to do it in Spanish too, right here. And then you can like pause the game or stuff. But yeah, anyways, this is what we had to do for class. It's just like very lab based. And I think UT is very like that, where you have to do a bunch of labs and you have to do a bunch of research on your own. And honestly, I really liked it. I thought it was very hands-on, and I thought it was a perfect fit for me. But yeah, I think that was, sorry, a pretty quick run through. I'll save questions for the end. But yeah, that was my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much, Rayleigh, for sharing so much about the job path for electrical engineering and also computer engineering. And I hope that you are able to achieve your dreams and plans for the future as well. So, dear delegates, for the final oration, I would like to call upon Renee Garcia, an engineering student majoring in nanotechnology at Tecnológico de Monterrey, Chihuahua, Mexico.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. Can you see my slides there? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hi, thank you for having me. I'm Renee, I'm the representative for Mexico. And so I'm going to start talking a little bit about me. So my full name is Renee Sofia Garcia Orozco. I love nature. I'm really amazed by it. I'm really thankful for everything that it gives us, and I respect it a lot. That's why I take a lot of time into preserving it and taking care of it, as well as sharing information about how you can like take care of it. I go like to protests to like save the planet and things like that. So my hobbies include hiking and camping. I love coffee. I'm always tired, so I can fall asleep anywhere and anytime, which I think is a cool ability because I don't suffer from insomnia. I love to learn new things, and I'm a student of nanotechnology, as our MC already said. Okay, so let's start to talk about what is nanotechnology and its applications, because many of you may have not heard of it. So nanotechnology is the manipulation of material at the nanometric scale. If you see on the image on the right, 1 nanometer is the size of a molecule. So you work with manipulation of the molecules and atoms. So since an atom is like the smallest thing you can divide something into, by modifying an atom, you modify the properties of the material you're working with. So that's what nanotechnology, like in small words, it does, but it's a really broad subject. So you can focus it almost on anything because, well, the world is made of a lot of materials. So the first application, which is the one I'm interested in, why I chose the career, is environmental remediation. So it works a lot with the production of clean energy and improving its effectiveness. It's also it's very known for use to purification of water. So water is a resource that is very scarce, so we have to take care of it, and nanotechnology is working on purifying water that has been contaminated. It has a lot of applications in the medical industry, in the food industry, like modifying like the properties of food, so maybe it can have more nutrients for less price or things like that. It has a lot of applications in the space industry, like in the materials for the rockets or in the materials that are taken to space. in the fields to make them more effective in fabrics, like in the clothes you wear, like, I don't know, making them dry fit or more aerodynamic, like for athletes. That's another application. And as Ray said, it has a lot of application in the electronics, and that has to do with quantum computers, like really fast computers that work with the with electrons. Well, all computers work with electrons, but well, yeah. So here are some images of the applications I talked about before. So the first one is an image of a nanotube for the treatment of cancer. The second one is an image of a flexible and effective solar panel. So it's a very small solar panel that you can like put in many places. The third one is like how the magnetic fields look around nickel particles, and this was used for the water cleaning I was talking about. So there are nanosensors that detect the magnetic fields, so they can be removed. And the final image is for the thing I was talking about, quantum computers for the teletransportation of a photon. So yeah. So nanotechnology in Mexico. It's not a very pretty landscape, I could say, but well, let's talk about it. There are only 10 universities in Mexico that offer it, which are really few compared to the amount of universities that there are in Mexico. We suffer from something called escaping of brains. I don't know if any other country calls it that way, but what it means is that researchers and engineers travel to another country to keep working on science, but don't come back. So we export to 30 to 35% of our engineers and researchers to other countries, leaving Mexico with like no development. So you can either investigate, create your own business, or teach as a nanotech graduate or graduate, yeah. You need to do a graduate degree to be able to eat. By this, I mean you have to have a master's degree or a PhD in order to be like trusted or hired by any company to do an investigation or research. So nanotechnology is very, very based on research. So yeah, since it's a very new subject, you have to have a graduate degree for you to be able to have enough knowledge to actually do something productive from it. So it's a new career here in Mexico. It's not older than 11 years. And sadly, there is no national plan for nanotech. So since there is no national plan, like a national organization or a national, something that backs it up, there are no goals for nanotech here in Mexico. So if there are no goals, there is no where to go to. So that's why many researchers prefer to go to another country to keep working on their research. So sadly for me, that's my plan. Like I plan to do my undergraduate here and then my master's and my PhD in another country. But I do plan to come back to develop what I have learned in other countries and help my country be higher in science. Okay, so now I'm gonna start talking about my university. Here are some images of my university. The first two are the labs. So depending on your career, you go to a different campus. So for example, I live in Chihuahua, which is like at the northern Mexico, but to finish my career, I have to go to another state, which is called Nuevo León. So the first lab is in Nuevo León, and the second image is a lab in Querétaro, which is more focused on robotics and mechatronics and things like that. The first one is I think chemical or biotech lab. So the third image on the upper right, it's an air view of my campus. So here are here's the stadium. Here are like the classrooms. Here's like there's like high school and middle school inside the campus, so it's like there's space. And here on the other side is Orion Park, which I'm gonna talk about later. This other image is a very iconic image for my university. So if you see like this mural, it's like, oh, that's Tec de Monterrey. This image is a view of the building of the labs that are here in Chihuahua. And the third one is an image of the Learning Commons, which is like a building that has, on the first floor, there are these like tables for you to work in your homework or in your school projects. And to the sides, there are a lot of computers that you can use. On the second level, there's a library. And on the third level, there are cubicles for you to work and study in silence. Okay, so my university is called Tec de Monterrey. And I divide it like in three main subjects that it can be like, which is like most known for. The first one is entrepreneurship. Our school is very focused into building entrepreneurs. The second one is how we work in semester, which is based on challenges. And the third one, I'm going to talk about the labs and international experiences. Okay, so entrepreneurship. We are very encouraged to do our own startups, and we are very supported to develop them. So as I said later, there's here in Chihuahua, we have a park called Orion Park, which is this weird looking building. So in this building, there are a lot of offices and mentors and people to help you from the point of creating the idea to the point of incubation of the startup. So it is really cool. It is free. So you just have to like go and say like, I have an idea, and they help you develop it and like perfection it and make it better. So here are some like of the companies that have been made by Orion Park. Some had to do with artificial intelligence, other with biotech, other with agriculture, other with cattle. So there are like a lot of areas inside this. You don't have to have like you don't have to be in a specific undergraduate to be able to work here. Actually, people from other states and outside of our university come here to work on this park because it has a lot of vinculation with many enterprises that help you work as mentors. That work as mentors for you to create a better startup. And they offer a lot of soft skills for us to be like better leaders. They encourage us to act as leaders. So yeah, that's why it's very focused on entrepreneurship. If you don't know, like many businesswomen and men here in Mexico graduate from Tec de Monterrey. Okay, so challenges. Our semester divides in 3 blocks, and each block is composed of 5 weeks. I'm sorry this is in Spanish, but I'll explain it. So the first year is like you have classes with other majors from the branch of engineering. After your first and a half year, you start like focusing it more in your career. So in one block, we have 4 subjects, you could say. The first one is the block subject. So you divide it, each block subject has 4 subjects. It's kind of messy, but I'll explain it. For example, in this block, my block is called Analysis of Electromagnetic Systems, and it's divided in electromagnetism, numeric methods, vectorial calculus, and statistics. So we have all those classes in order for us to solve the challenge of model how particles work in a mass spectrophotometer. So these challenges are supposed to like work into our problem-solving skills. But it's quite harsh because they teach us a lot of subjects in very little time. So yeah, and the other 3 subjects are like complementary. So for example, I'm taking 2 chemistries and Mexican art. So the third one is one you can choose like from another career that has nothing to do with yours. So here are an image of the last subject I did, which was like to build a circuit out of lemons and get energy out of it. And I had to model the galvanic cell in MATLAB, and had to do other calculations and analysis, and a report lab for all of that. So that's what like our 5 weeks turn around on. Okay, and labs and international experiences. In our school, they encourage us a lot to go on summer programs or full semesters abroad. So they have links with universities where you can go through a whole semester in Spain, Czech Republic, Italy, China, UK, Denmark, Australia, and the United States, among others. So that's really cool. Although you have to pay, but you can get like scholarships for it. And you have to have a C1 in TOEFL to be able to graduate. So that gives us like more, that opens us more doors and gives us more opportunities in order to find work abroad. And something really cool is that MIT opened a lab specialized in nanoscience and nanotechnology named after our university. So that created a link that makes us students easier for us to go to like on summer programs or internships there at MIT. Well, MIT is a university in the United States, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is like the #1 ranked globally in STEM matters. So student life while in pandemic, they're really, I think they have done a good job while in pandemic. They have done the best they can do. So they focus a lot on our mental health. They have this program called Te Queremos, which is like translated to "We love you," where there's like a psychologist you can call 24/7 in case you have like problems or you wanted to talk to someone. Sorry. There's less time in classes, or our classes are supposed to last 2 hours, but in online classes, they only let them last one and a half hours or 1 hour and 40 minutes. So we're not like a lot of time close to a computer. And they encourage the teachers to be more flexible in classes, so they're not really harsh at the moment of evaluating assignments or due dates or things like that. So our labs, our labs, we do mini projects at home, especially like I have done labs for a chemistry class. So they put us, they tell us to get materials that are easy to get, like in hardware stores or things like that. And so we can simulate things that we will learn on an actual lab. We have a traffic light, so a traffic light for the pandemic. So depending if we're like in green, is like it's all good. If we're in red, is that don't come out of your house and things like that. So depending on the traffic light, last month we got to go to the labs. Like we got online classes, but we could do the labs in the campus. But like this last block, they closed the labs, so we have to do again the labs here at home. So all our classes are in Zoom. And something really cool that was that there have been made a lot of alliances among students, which is what I think has been more helpful for us, like to do study groups, do recreational activities from school clubs. So there are like school clubs for robotics, school clubs for video games and things like that. So they organize recreational activities for us to have some time apart from school. So things in demand. Most of these trusted applications in nanotechnology in Mexico. So the #1 is environmental remediation. It's something really needed here in Mexico because our government is currently not supporting like clean energy production and really not caring about the environment. And from what I've talked, you can see that I really care about it. So I'm glad I'm not glad it's the number one like demand, but I'm glad that I'm focusing on it so I can help Mexico like be be a more sustainable country. The next one is health and medicine application, which is something really needed to be developed here in Mexico since our health system is not really great. So many people have to travel to other countries to get better medical, to have better medical care. And last is food and cosmetics. So yeah, we need a lot of multi-generational leadership and support to science development because authorities have not been supporting a lot the science development through to science and art and sports. So maybe through dialogue, like from the young people to the ones that are in charge of Mexico right now, we can achieve like having better achieve our goals toward a better Mexico, I could say. I forgot to talk about in this slide. Here are two organizations called CONACYT and CIMAF. CIMAF is here in Chihuahua in my state, and CONACYT is a national organization. These two are the ones that finance the researchers and engineers in their investigations. So they are non-governmental, but thanks to them, we can like go to other countries to make investigations and researches. And that's it. I like to close with a quote from one of the researchers here in Mexico in Nanotechnology that said, "The challenge is greater given that despite the regional and local potentials and the historic opportunities to participate in important technological weights, Mexico's scientific technological subordination, dependency, and delayed development are overwhelming." So that has to do with the escaping of brains and the thing that we have good potential, we have good engineers, and we have a lot of talent, but we lack of support and we lack of investment from our authorities. And yeah, these are the references for my presentation. And that's it. Thank you for everything. You can contact me on that email.
That was a brilliant sharing, Renee. I hope that all the participants here in ISA International STEM Conference gain something from this presentation of yours. Thank you very much for this amazing closure. Esteemed guests, we have now reached the end of the sharing session and would like to open the floor to any queries that you may have for our distinguished panel of speakers. Do introduce yourself beforehand to make it more conducive for our panel to address you. We request that fellow participants ask questions that are related to the topic from the conference. Para peserta dibenarkan untuk bertanyakan soalan dalam bahasa Melayu dan saya akan menterjemahkan soalan anda kepada bahasa Inggeris. However, everyone is recommended to ask questions in English. You may either ask your questions using your mic, by turning on your mic, or in the chat.
Hi, my name is Sweta. I'm from the US, and I had a general question for all the panel members. But what sort of prior experience in the view of a prospective student would you recommend for anyone going into STEM? Any characteristics or activities that you would recommend?
Thank you, Sweta, for the question. Is there any volunteers from the panel of speakers to answer Sweta's question?
Yeah, I can go ahead and take this one. Hi, Sweta.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Because I'm also from the U.S., I can talk about like I guess what I did that stood out to the colleges and got me into university. I think the most important thing is you want to like be doing stuff outside of class. You know, it's a very like cliche answer, but I think extracurriculars, especially for something that you're interested in and you want to do in college, like for example. If you want to do business, try to do some, business type projects or like learn something on the side. If you want to do, like electronics or mechatronics, it'd be really good to have, some robotics experience and stuff like that. For me, I guess the biggest thing was my study abroad STEM trip. That I kind of used that a lot in my application process. So yeah, I just think finding something that A interests you, B is outside of school, and C is actually applicable to what you want to study. I think that's the most important thing. And also you want to show who you are in your essays. Like when you write essays to your colleges, you don't want to make it boring. It doesn't have to be about how much you know. You just have to show who you are, because colleges want to take interesting students. They don't want to take just robots that are really smart and that's it. And so I guess that's my 2 cents.
I would like to add something to what Ray said, which is that the thing he said about finding something that you're really interested in. I encourage you to try a lot of things because you don't really know which one you're gonna like the most. So it's really cool, like to try different things. So maybe you like a little bit of I like a little bit about this and I like a little bit about that. So for example, I met a student who really liked like makeup and fashion and things like that, but she really liked math and engineering. So she studied like electronics engineering, and she made like tattoos like with electronics. So you could like paste a tattoo and it will like shine. So like that you can mix from a lot of your interests, so you can really do something that you are proud of and that you don't get tired, because if you hold on to something, it's easier to keep going.
We have a question from Pugal. Good morning, evening, from Malaysia. Where is the oil and gas industry? Where is it going to be in the future? Will it be a good industry to get into, or will renewable energies be a better choice? I think the oil and gas industry is a good industry to go into because, in the next, I guess, half a century, there will always be engineers needed in that field. However, I think there's a limit with not only where you could go as, like an engineer or researcher, but also your company. Because you got to think about the company that you work at, right? Eventually, they're going to have to do different stuff outside of oil and gas specifically. For example, I'll give it one that I think I've researched a bit. British Petroleum, or BP. They're starting to do a lot with cleaner energy and reducing carbon emissions. And so like you can go into the oil and gas industry, but I think you have to expect some transitional change into renewable energy. I don't think it's very, I guess, logical to expect only doing oil and gas as a career long term. Of course you can, but I think you just have to keep an eye out for renewable energies. But both choices are good. They're great jobs.
Wait, I want to add to this. So, since I am in the Middle East and being a part of the UAE, there is like a huge focus on the oil and gas industry. So, the thing is, all of these nations in the Middle East who were highly dependent on oil for most of their income, they've started to diversify their sources of income, including the UAE. So, looking at like Dubai, it was first like run by the income through oil and gas, but now they're most of their income generated is through tourism and other sectors of business. So, I mean, the oil and gas won't really go away. They won't fade because there's always industries other than like the automobile and cars that will need oil and gas and its products. But I think renewable energy is sort of the future because that's where everyone is headed. So, and I don't think the skills that you need for either of those industries are mutually exclusive. So, you don't really have to like choose one because I think the skills that you will learn will apply to both of them. So yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Okay, let me add a little bit from Malaysia. I agree with Ray and also Akshay. I mean, it's actually the oil and gas industry, like Ray said, it's very, very limited for now. And the renewable energy are actually, the industry is actually rising right now in Malaysia, although it's quite slow, but still you could actually expect some new transitions like what Ray said and also Akshat mentioned just now. So actually it's all on you, I think. I mean, you could choose. You could still do like whatever you want. It depends on what you are actually interested in. So if you're like, okay, but you have to expect some new transitions then, because in Malaysia, the renewable energy industry is actually rising. So you should expect something new instead. And this is a good choice to me.
Thank you very much for the answers. Is there any other panels of speakers that wants to add up for this question? If there's no panels of speakers willing to continue, I would like to continue with the next question from Aisha, which is from Malaysia. So the question is, how does the panels deal with challenges in studies caused by COVID-19?
Can I answer this first? I am coping with this pandemic with, well, every kind of cultural thing you can do, like these type of conferences or just reading books or listening to music, but tiny things help, I guess. And the most of the challenges are related to myself. I mean, my challenges are related to myself because the school gives us literally everything, but I am the one who doesn't really do much about it most of the time. So I am trying to stay positive, even though I just had the COVID myself. I think what you should do is to sometimes take a break, even if it feels like you're not doing anything, because you actually might need it. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Zainab. Is there any other speakers who would like to share their ways of facing the challenge in studies while this pandemic?
One I can think of is like finding
don't feel embarrassed. Please just let us know.
A group of
We're totally fine. We're gonna have this frequently.
That, where
Mashallah.
it's hard to know people like
No
in
worries.
Zoom,
No,
but
because
you
for
get
me,
to know them
I'm
as semester
here
goes on. But
represent
like get
the
to know people that
Singaporeans,
work kind
and
of
just to
at
let
the
all the
same rhythm
Singaporeans
as
know,
you,
there are
or do the assignments
avenues for you guys to donate
like
or
similar to you,
find
so
out
you
more
can
information. You can
make
follow right
them
now
together,
Sister Lynn
or
on Friends for Palestine.
ask for
And if you
questions,
want to
because
donate, you
really
can
doing
donate
assignments
directly to my
alone
account, and I'll be
in in
transferring all the
pandemic
money
is really
to
hard and really
Malaysia,
exhausting.
inshallah.
So
There are a few
finding
organizations
someone to
that you can trust, and you know that the money will go directly to the people in Palestine, in Gaza, in Aqsa, and all the necessary places, inshallah. So yeah, for Singaporeans, if you want to donate, you can go to my Instagram account and find out where to donate from there, how to donate from there, inshallah. So there are a few of my friends who texted me and asked me earlier on today. Actually, they said, Alpha, what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah? And so that's why when you guys are now in the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah, that's why I feel that it's important for me to be here, so that people have a little bit of clarity.
Yes.
People in Singapore especially, and as you all know, it's sad to say, but Singapore, I got this one message from
You're from Singapore, right?
follower. Yeah. So my fellow Singaporean Muslims got a little bit hurt when they saw a lot of comments from the Malaysians saying that Singapore is actually friends of Israel, and Singapore is this and that. And so I had to inform my this follower who texted me, and I said that what the Malaysians are saying are true about Singapore. Singapore
the government is pro-Israeli.
Yes. Our government is pro-Israeli, and that's why it's a little bit difficult sometimes, especially for Singaporeans, when we are pushing this out. I guess it's a little bit more risky for us as well. But people out there understand, Singaporeans, people out there understand that Singaporean citizens are not like the Singaporean government. So please do not be kecil hati, be insulted or hurt by the comments that other people are saying about Singapore, because what they say are true. Okay, so we have to know that. And the news in Singapore, when they are talking about the situation in Palestine, is also towards is also either neutral or actually towards leaning towards the Israel propaganda. So for Singaporeans, there are so many of you who are still confused about the situation, and because you watch the news and trust the news, you don't understand the situation. And when you are seeing what I'm saying or the conversations that I'm having with Sister Lynn and all that, mesti rasa macam yang mana satu yang betul. And I think this is what a lot of people out there, especially in the foreign countries, are feeling as well, because when they see news reports in the mainstream media, it's saying one thing and then the truth is another, and so but they do not know which one to believe, because they cannot fathom, they cannot they cannot fathom that the mainstream news will be giving out fake news. So, but this is how it is. This is the dunya right now, and you have to understand this fact and learn that things that we learn in schools, things that are being told to us on TV mostly, are all not true. To try to find the truth, you have to be smart and go by different avenues to know what truly is happening. Like I've experienced this myself. Like, for example, the news about situations that are happening in other countries, right? So the news come out and it becomes like so dramatic or catastrophic, right? And then you call your friends over there and they say, hey, what's happening? This. I say, no, everything's fine here. I can show you. It's so weird. So it is very important to be connected with people from overseas. I'm sure now there are a lot of Singaporeans and Malaysians living abroad. So contact them, talk to them, and ask them about things that are happening. And alhamdulillah, there are also, I think there's a Malaysian who is in Palestine right now, and I saw some of his live videos.
Miss Nina and Noor had a live session with him. It's so amazing, mashallah.
Yeah,
If
it
I
is
have a chance to
actually.
go, if I have a chance to go to Palestine,
Me
and
too. I
stay in
want to
Gaza,
go.
I would. Yeah, mashallah.
I really want to go. And maybe also for a fellow friends and even Malaysia and Singapore. I mean, we have many of them, Chinese and Indian, who are not really aware about the Palestinian issue.
Yeah.
So we will save this video. They can just join. They can do their own research. Just follow. And 1 minute.
You know,
He's contacting me.
I actually spoke to some of my Chinese celebrity friends in Singapore, and I told him about the situation, and I sent him all the videos, and I asked him, you know, maybe we should do a live session together so that we can create an awareness, not about the truth that's happening, because like I said earlier, the Singapore media is pro-Israel, right? So I feel like if I can gather my Chinese celebrity friends to sit down and have a live session and address these issues, and can share videos and stuff like that, it will create a bigger awareness, because I feel like Singaporean non-Muslims do not feel that they need to know about the situation, because again, it's so far away, it has nothing to do with them. We are here happy, peaceful, alhamdulillah, even though the COVID situation is not so good, and we are gonna inshallah be on lockdown as well, but they do not feel the need to know about other people's wars, and the things that they know is, oh, Islam is bad, this is a war against between Islam and Israel, and we as Christian, mostly in Singapore, have nothing to do with it. So when I spoke to my friend, he said, you know, I feel uncomfortable talking about this, and I need to read up more. And so what I said to him was, you know, read as much as you may, but what you read and what you get might not be the truth. So that's why it's necessary to have this conversation with me. But the danger of any celebrities or influencers or icons in Singapore doing this is that because the government is pro-Israel, we might be in danger of losing our jobs or being under surveillance and things like that. So
to that extent, they would survey, to that extent, the Singapore government would survey you guys.
And actually, one thing maybe for our non-Muslim, for the all non-Muslim followers, we do have a Christian brothers in Palestine, even in Gaza and Jerusalem, who we were planning to go on sessions with. And even some of them, he's a Christian, and he will share with us a video. He's 70 plus, and his speech was very, very heart-touching. He told me that I feel Islam is a part of my heritage as a Palestinian. Even if I am a Christian, Islam and Al-Aqsa are part of my history. I cannot, even I need to defend Al-Aqsa before I defend the church that I pray in. So even maybe sometimes the Chinese, they think that Palestinian issue is not about Islam. It's a human right of the Palestinians. It's a human issue. Despite that, the country, majority of the country are Muslims, but that doesn't make it only for them. You know? Yeah.
Is my mic okay now? Just now my mic was bad. Is my mic okay? I couldn't.
Yes.
It's okay now? Okay. The viewers have some questions, I think. We sent.
Yeah, so I think there's a question down here. He's asking, the person is asking, what do the Palestinians feel about the Israelis keeping on blaming Hamas for everything?
What does the Israelis feel about?
What do you guys feel, Palestinians feel, about the Israelis always blaming Hamas for everything?
same. We feel injustice. We feel so angry. We feel that they are trying to play and to manipulate the real story. That's what we feel. Okay? Because Hamas is the only party in Palestine that for now they only can participate in protecting Al-Aqsa from Gaza using the rockets. So how come you're telling us as a Palestinians that they are the bad side and we need to feel empathy with the Israeli army? It doesn't make any sense. We feel angry. That's the feeling that really we have. But this time, all Palestinians in all over Palestine, they were with Gaza people and with what Gaza people have been doing. That's the thing.
How do you see this thing ending? Just wondering, how do you see this thing ending?
This thing ending.
Yes.
Well, okay, we can go to many political analysis of the story, but what we can tell that the occupation is still ongoing. Palestine is still under occupation. Maybe what happened this time when they seized the fire is that we feel we are one step closer to victory, but we didn't forget that we still have a long way to go. But we have learned many things from this experience. That the Palestinians need to be together hand in hand in the occupied territories in West Bank and Jerusalem. Once we united and we get all the streaming, the media worldwide supporting us, the protests, the influencers, the TV channels, that all make an impact and we pressure onto Israel. We are still waiting for the legal accountability from any international court. That's another level. But having this give us the pace to reach out to that level, which is the legal accountability. Continuing and doing this thing, live sessions, discovering what's happening, talking, educating, is actually the main key for us to reach to that point. But it needs time, it needs patience. What I see is that Palestine will be free, we will be liberated. Maybe we're not sure when, but we're coming closer day by day, especially after what happened this Ramadan. It's a live proof that we are closer to victory, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I'm not trying to be diplomatic here. I'm just giving the answer that I really have. It's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I saw an answer from a follower who commented. He said that whatever the outcome of what's going to happen to Palestine is already written in Quran, and the only thing that we can do right now is just continue on striving and fighting. Yeah, because it will only end when Allah says it's time to end. So even though it will continue on, Wallahu alam, yes, you guys, we are promised victory, Alhamdulillah. But so as we wait for that victory, we just have to continue on fighting, and we don't know, Allahu alam, when that will happen. But inshallah, may it come soon. But seriously, you know, when we were having, I think I was having this conversation with you. Oh no, it was the live session that I had with Diana and Irma Hasmi and Ustaz Hafiz. We were looking at all the past wars that was happening, like right, World War One lasted for about 4 years, and World War Two was about 6 years. But the war that's happening, even the war in Syria, is already about 9 to 12 years or so. But the war in Palestine has lasted the longest in history, I feel. 73 years. It's for the people of Palestine to be going through what you guys have been going through. It's crazy. It was like way before any of us were born, and now most of us have children and still ongoing. And you know, to be honest, when I grew up and I started learning about this situation in Palestine and Israel and Gaza, listening to the Singapore news, of course, because that was the only news that I was able to view when I was younger, before the years of having internet and social media. Honestly, and I apologize for this, I believe that Hamas was the bad guy. You know, and this is how strong the media industry is. because that was the only outlet. And so I feel that a lot of people who are just like me all over the world are feeling the same thing. And alhamdulillah, thankfully for the social media right now, we are able to know the truth firsthand from people on the ground. And so if even in this situation where we can see it for ourselves, hear it for ourselves from people who are there and then videoing, recording, and going live. And even if with all these things, people are not able to see the truth, then they are the ones that Allah has chosen to keep their eyes and hearts blind. And so there's nothing much we can do. And it's sad, but alhamdulillah, I feel like every single day I try to appease myself, and because I feel helpless, of course, and I feel that a lot of my followers and people in Singapore and Malaysia also mesti rasa macam tak boleh nak buat apa. Kita buat apa pun, kita cakap dengan orang pun, kita try to talk to the Israel people and all that. There is no change, especially for the people who are in Palestine. They have been fighting and fighting and fighting, but it's as if
for so long,
for so long. It's 73 years. So what else can we do? So
that's the whole idea. Where that's exactly why, that's what I asked myself many times. If we have been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again for over 50 years here, guys. It's like what?
Right.
We have to do something different. We have to do something so different in order to really see something different, to see a different result. It just baffles me how long, literally when I was living in Jordan, this was going on. Like when I was living in Jordan for 3 years, the conflict was happening. Now I'm like 32 years old and it's still happening. It's like the same story. Situation dia sama saja, benda cerita sama, cuma tahun dia yang beza saja.
Yeah.
And this is the hard truth that we're from the outside, right? For us, maybe it's easy for us to okay, sekarang dia viral, dia panas sekarang, so semua orang nak kecoh hashtag, letak gambar profile photo. But the moment it sits down the line when it's no longer viral, tak ada lagi hashtag, profile photo semua tukar ke gambar biasa.
Yeah.
And then but people in Palestine have been going through this for 50 years. That means kalau budak kecil tu lahir 2000, from a baby all the way to an adult, dia dibesar dalam keadaan oppression. From a baby to school sampai dia dewasa, dia dibesar dalam situasi apartheid, situasi oppression. That is very. It's just crazy, and that's why, with all the respect to everything that we've been doing, I support MAPIM, I support every organization that has stood for Palestine. That is the reason why Caprice nak sangat buat benda luar biasa. That is why something. It started from a dream. Like Caprice mimpi benda tu, so Caprice buat saja. And bila kita cecah 200,000 views on Instagram, someone called me up from one of my branding people. They said that might be the biggest view on Instagram in Malaysia. No one has ever hit 200,000 live viewers in Malaysia on Instagram.
Right.
At least that's something, right? At least look, we have 7,000 here. I joined, Caprice joined 5 Palestinians live. 5 Palestinian live views tak cecah 20,000. Let's be honest. Kita kena jujur. We have to be honest. We can cry. We can cry. We can cry. We can cry. We can cry. We can keep crying and do all this. But the truth of the matter is, look at the numbers. Every time Palestinian NGO masuk live, Caprice, dia tell Caprice, kita punya views 5,000 saja. Kita punya views 10,000 saja. This is the reality of what's happening now on social media. Numbers never lie. I told that to the Israeli people. Hey, how many women and children died in Palestine compared to Israel? Don't lie. And they know. They say, oh yeah, more women, children died. So when you talk about kita punya pejuang, and people ask me, Kapis, kenapa you berani berdepan dengan influencer dekat sana? Why? Because kita ni seorang influencer dekat sini. Kalau Caprice nak orang sana dengar suara Caprice, buat apa Caprice nak masuk live dengan contohlah. Let's say I'm going live with you now, right? I'm live with you right now. Betul tak? Oh, your line dah hang dah.
Yeah.
I'm live with you now. Yeah? I'm live with you now.
Right.
But all our listeners adalah orang yang sudah tahu apa yang berlaku. Semua kita punya listeners sekarang ni sudah tahu apa dah berlaku sebab benda ni dah 50 tahun dah berlaku dah. Cerita sama, keadaan sama. We're just talking to ourselves, guys, right? We're building awareness. But look at the views. Look at the views. Look at the views. Right? And then one day, after 6 months, lepas 6 bulan, tak ada lagi hashtag. Profile foto masing-masing dah tukar balik kepada gambar orang. The picture of warna merah, shame on you Israel on Facebook. After 4 months, akan jadi gambar biasa. Tapi dekat Palestine, masih orang dianiaya. Dekat Gaza, masih orang di-oppressed. Dekat Jerusalem, masih orang di-oppressed. This has been going for 50 years. And that's what made me sick. That's why Caprice berani buat apa yang kita buat. And kita cecah 200,000 viewers on that day. And mungkin, maybe, awal-awal, that was the langkah pertama. Mungkin the first time, 200,000 views. But at least, bagi Caprice lah, at least artis Israel tahu yang Caprice ni tak akan duduk diam. Like Caprice ni akan sentiasa ketuk pintu dorang. If we look at the movements, around the world, Black Lives Matter. If you look at Malaysia, birthday movement. Are you familiar with birthday?
Yeah.
The movement started on Facebook. It started on Facebook, and it changed the country. And sampai tahap it went so big until Tun Dr. Mahathir took control of the country from a social media campaign on the streets, 2 votes. Sampai orang undi, and benda tu 360 terbalik.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my dream lah. This is just my dream. I know orang kata, oh, Caprice, orang Yahudi ni tak boleh percaya. Sudah tentu tak boleh percaya orang Yahudi ni. Tapi we have to remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. My knowledge of Islam is very, very limited. But correct me if I'm wrong. There's a period, according to my ustaz, Caprice ada ustaz yang berubah Caprice from Darul Shifa. So off and on, my ustaz ni akan always educate me about things. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a period before Kiamat of peace. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ada satu masa dalam kita punya dunia di mana there's a period of lasting peace. Meaning tak ada perang, tak ada siapa gaduh, lasting peace.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right or wrong?
Yes. So that comes right after Dajjal, and then Dajjal is killed by Nabi Isa alaihi salam, and then bila Ya'juj Ma'juj dah mati tu semua, orang Islam dah keluar daripada gua, so that we will be living in peace with Nabi Isa alaihi salam for about 40 years, and wallahu alam how long that will last. After Nabi Isa alaihi salam passes away, but during that period of time, 40 years, inshallah, it will be like heaven on earth. Yes.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, like Caprice memang until now I get goosebumps. I don't know apa yang buat Caprice gerak hati dari mimpi yang nampak Al-Aqsa ni. Tak ada perang, tak ada siapa kecoh, and Caprice tak tahu dari mimpi Caprice DM seorang influencer, dia terus reply. I don't know, but I do know the fact that we broke Instagram record. Tak ada artis mana-mana dekat Singapura ke Malaysia ke yang pernah cecah 200,000 viewers on a live. And for me the best part was I got Israeli audience in my DM. Ada 4 artis Israeli on my DM, and kita tengah sembang saja. Kita tengah sembang. Kita tak screenshot pun yang guys, look, I'm talking to this Israeli artist. Diorang pun tak buat sama kat diorang punya IG. Tapi the fact that I can start diplomacy sebab I just, because I come from a diplomatic family, dalam darah Caprice, sebab ayah Caprice dulu kerja Wisma Putra, ada darah diplomasi tau. Dia tak tahu kenapa, tapi dalam darah Caprice memang ada darah diplomasi. So bila Caprice start sembang dengan orang, this is what, okay, let's just ignore about Jews, ignore about Muslims. Just talk about normal human beings, right? When I understand you, I would know how to deal with you. When you understand me, you know how to deal with me. Because I understand each other, right? This is the fundamental of human nature. Human nature is when I understand you, you understand me, we can solve a problem. Tapi apa yang buat Caprice sangat-sangat sedih, apabila tiap kali Caprice tercakap dengan orang Palestinian, dia akan cerita dia punya pendapat, dan dia akan kasar lah. Dan Caprice tak salahkan dia sebab dia kasar. Sebab 50 tahun dia dianiaya, siapa tak kasar? Siapa tak sedih? Siapa tak nak tak marah? And then bila Caprice tanya pula pendapat orang Israeli dalam DM Caprice, dia akan cerita apa dia pendapat dia sebab dia dibasuh. Dia from media, brainwash from media, even sejarah. Sebenarnya on my life, Caprice bawa banyak gila notes about the UN punya deal, the peace treaty. I have all the notes. Sebab sebenarnya this is all the notes for the live yesterday. They can't even look at a map. They can't even look at a map. That's how that is how brainwashed.
You mentioned
but
something very important.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I want to deal with you, I need to understand you, and you need to understand me. They don't want to understand. They want to force us into their narrative. We don't have any common ground. They want to tell us that Zionists came, Jewish people came, but I call them Zionists, not only Jewish. We as Muslims, as a Christian, as a human being, we should not judge someone based on their religion. That's something we agree on. But Zionists, they came claiming that Palestine is their land, and they want us to start arguing with them with any peace solution based on that fact. We do not agree with that fact, and they have nothing to prove that Palestine is for them. No one can claim to have a land, for God's sake. So
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
We have no conversation. There is no common ground for us to have a conversation. I'm talking about
Especially.
it's okay. You may continue. We can proceed later. Please continue.
Yeah.
People are really enjoying your speech.
Yeah, especially when you are brainwashed for 50 years, guys. We're talking about brainwash. Israelis are brainwashed for 50 years. Palestinians have been oppressed for over 50 years. Siapa nak dengar? Siapa nak dengar? Siapa nak? Mama ni tak nak dengar mama ni, Mina ni. They will never get along. They will never get along.
Yeah.
Never. 50 years of brainwash. Siapa nak dengar? Kecuali ni pendapat Caprice lah. Kecuali ada orang ketiga ni yang boleh bawa diorang duduk sama-sama and mediate that conversation. That's the only way I feel. They would never, selagi diorang ni pandang each other, it's too long. 70 years of oppression, 70 years of brainwash.
Yes.
You know,
they teach their kids in the school that Palestinians, or they say Palestinians need to go from this land, and this land belongs to us. Many of the kids, I can send you the videos. They are taught that Al-Aqsa belongs to us. It doesn't belong to Muslims. Despite that, Jerusalem city is a holy place, not only for Muslims, also for Christians. We have a holy church of Sibilkar over there. It's a very important for Christian people. And talking about the oppression of the Israeli, Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood and Jerusalem city, what has been happening there has nothing to do with Hamas or any political party. It is a war crime in all their means. They want to find any excuse for them to have this crime. This land, I will keep on repeating this so all the followers will learn and teach their fellow friends and family. It's not for Israeli under the international law, and what they have been doing in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood is a war crime. That's it. Easy and shortcut.
Yeah.
It is a war crime. Hamas
Yeah.
is not in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. No force is there. No police is there. It's only civilians, only Palestinians, family living there. That's it.
Yeah.
So how come you allow your citizens to come over, take their homes, and then asking them not to defend themselves? In what means you're doing this?
Exactly. But you know what? You know why I believe in the power of mindset? You know why I believe in it so much? Let me tell you the story of, not tell you, everyone knows the story, right?
Yeah.
We talk about Malaysian politics, right? Malaysian politics, right? One party was in control for so long. I don't want to say the party, right? One political party memang pegang Malaysia for so long. Tapi apa yang berlaku? Apa yang berlaku di social media? Ada orang start campaign. Campaign. Basuh minda orang Malaysia. Dan apa yang berlaku selepas 4 tahun? Apa yang berlaku? 4 tahun. After 4 years, apa yang berlaku? What happened after 4 years? What happened?
They all know what happened.
Government change.
Yeah.
The Malaysian, the people vote, government change. Whether it's for good or for worse, tu cerita belakang lah. Benda tu cerita belakang. Whether kita pergi undi dan tiba-tiba kerajaan makin teruk atau makin baik, tu cerita belakang lah. Tapi apa yang berlaku adalah because of a new mindset, because of orang kita basuh dekat social media, rakyat sendiri pergi tukar kerajaan. I'm talking about the election, the last election. Apa yang berlaku in the last election. Because kena basuh kau-kau, campaign memang terbaik punya campaign, sampai rakyat sendiri undi untuk ubah parti. So that is why, kalau tadi to answer your question, kenapa Caprice rajin tiba-tiba nak sembang dengan orang Israeli? Sebab Caprice, I believe in the power of a campaign. I believe in the power of an idea. Satu idea kita, dia macam injection, dia macam vaksin. Once idea tu dah dicocok, insyaAllah dia akan merebak, dia akan spread to other people. I'm not even talking about the Palestinians. I've been talking to Palestinians for so long, right? Our views on Instagram will not change, right? Our views on Instagram will just be this. But insyaAllah, kalau kita boleh cocok satu jarum inside Israeli, kita boleh cocok diorang dengan satu idea yang baru yang boleh jadi satu virus, insyaAllah selepas 4 tahun diorang sendiri undi untuk kerajaan yang tak anaya orang Palestine. That is sort of, if people ask me what is your angle, apa Caprice punya akhirnya Caprice nak apa sebenarnya? I don't want to change the Palestinians. Palestinians are my brothers and sisters, right? We have been talking to each other, even in this live right now. In this live, ni semua kawan-kawan kita. Tak ada siapa dalam live ni kita nak ubah. Tak ada siapa dalam live ni yang ada kuasa untuk undi dalam Israel siapa patut jadi Perdana Menteri diorang, President diorang. So that is a new angle. I spoke to this to a few of my friends in politics. Caprice sembang benda ni dengan a few NGO. Caprice nak try buat satu angle yang luar biasa, yang lain macam, yang bukan conventional, tapi ada dia punya apa tu? How do I say this in Malay? Ada dia punya ala tuju. Is it ala tuju? Ada dia punya direction. ada sebab Caprice buat benda ni. InsyaAllah.
Inshallah. After this, one Palestinian brother, he will join us. He was in the attack this morning in Al-Aqsa. So he might be entered at any moment. I just wanted to announce. And yeah.
All right, great.
Please continue.
We can get the first-hand information of how everything started, and because we haven't gotten any like official announcement of why the attack happened, right? Yeah, so maybe we can get the first-hand information since he was there.
Yep.
But in the meantime, Caprice, I do understand where you're coming from, and I think I've said this to my followers. I said that different people have different fights, have different roles to play in a certain situation, and I think because you have the energy and the drive to go forward and speak to the Israelis, and I would say by all means, inshallah, may Allah ease your path, and may what you intend and what you dream of, the outcome, may you be able to attain it with Allah's help, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But yeah, and I think one of the other angles that you can go with is if you are able to get not just the Israelis, the Israel artists and celebrities. Maybe you can, if Allah membenarkan, Allah izinkan, maybe get all the American celebrities and all that to begin conversation with you, and I think that would also help with your angle.
Let's see, I guess. Yeah, Southeast influencers. American already have been going and doing many things already.
Yeah. So actually, when we feel the reason why, I get where you're coming from when you say when we're doing this kind of live, and the people who are watching are our friends and people who already know the situation. But the truth is, sadly, the people who are watching, there are so many more of us who do not know what's going on and who have just been aware. And I think so that there are multiple fights here. So your fight is alhamdulillah, inshallah. By all means, kita akan doakan, kita akan sokong.
Betul.
Kita akan teruskan perjuangan kita dekat sini untuk educate people yang masih belum tahu lagi, because it's sad to see some people posting things up within our region, things like when they have narratives supporting the Israelis, or when they have narratives saying that their understanding is exactly what the Zionist media are inputting, so that's why no matter how many banyak kali kita buat live sekalipun, akan masih ada followers kita ataupun orang-orang Islam kita, orang-orang Singapore, orang Malaysia, orang Indonesia, Brunei and all that, who still masih macam benda ni benda baru sangat kat diorang. And lagi-lagi I feel that a lot of us when we see this situation, right, we rarely teach our anak-anak about this, and because we feel we want to protect them from all this horrific visuals and situations, because kita tak nak stresskan diorang lagi-lagi dalam keadaan COVID ni, budak-budak boleh nak keluar, tak boleh nak buat ni buat tu, kita tak nak bebankan diorang dengan information macam ni. Tapi sebenarnya I feel sedikit demi sedikit we have to, because they are the next generation, and if they are like me when I was younger, my parents, of course, they didn't know. And all that they know is also apa yang news mainstream media is telling them. So I pun jadi bapa, I pun tak tahu atau belajar sendiri. So there's a lot of responsibility from us Muslims towards other Muslims to create the full awareness. And inshallah, what you said was true. Don't make this seasonal. You have to know that it is a continuous fight for the people in Palestine, and it's been ongoing for 73 years. So you have the liberty and the luxury of resting. We do have that luxury, and yes, we can. But I hope that all of us who are watching here right now, who are following us, rest because you can, and bersyukur because you can rest. But rest to recharge, and then come back stronger to fight again, inshallah. Okay, Assalamualaikum, brother.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam.
عرفنا عن حالك وقلنا احكي لنا كمان.
تمام. محمد نوفل، تقريبا مصور صحفي من القدس، مدينة القدس المحتلة. اغلب وقتنا بنصور لاحداث تقريبا ما يقارب من اول رمضان. المشاكل اللي بتكون واجهتنا في القدس بشكل عام، كمان في عندنا مشكله حي الشيخ جراح اللي هي موجوده حاليا، واغلب القصه اللي هي عماله بتصير حاليا هاي الايام عليها.
Yeah. So I will be translating one by one. He's Muhammad Nawfal, he's from Jerusalem city and he's a photographer. So they've been documenting everything happening in Al-Quds, Jerusalem since Ramadan. You guys can follow his page and you can check the pictures he have there. Okay, that's the first thing. But I will ask him now to update us on the attack in Al-Aqsa this morning. محمد إذا كنت أنت بالأقصى اليوم فيك تحكي لنا عن الهجوم كيف بلش شو صار وليش يعني.
تمام. هلا اليوم يوم الجمعة تقريبا الكل صحي من النوم مع سبة الانتصار كان موجود، اللي هي انتصار غزة على حرب إسرائيل، فالكل كان مبسوط وكانت الهمم كتير عالية بالنزول للمسجد الأقصى المبارك الصبح. فالكل هو متوجه على الأقصى اليوم، الكل زي تقولي فرحة العيد بالضبط، بكبروا أواعي جداد، الكل مبسوط فرحة يعني ما حد بيقدر يوصفها. توجهنا للمسجد الأقصى نقيم صلاة الجمعة يعني زي باقي الأيام كل جمعة بتصير. طبعا العدد كان كتير كبير كتير ما حد بتوقع زي صلاة العيد بالضبط. كل الأقصى مليان ناس من الشمال من القدس برا القدس، يعني كتير ناس، شيء رهيب كان. صلينا وكل شيء تمام. بعد الصلاة ما يقارب إنه بلشت هتافات زي مظاهرة لغزة، كان تضامن مع غزة، كانوا بيهتفوا لأبو عبيدة وكتائب القسام وللقدس بشكل عام. بعد هيك توجهوا الشباب على الابواب، كانوا بدهم عم بيحاولوا يطلعوا بالمسيره لحي الشيخ جراح، لكن تم قمعها قبه الصخره. تم بدء هجوم قوات الاحتلال لجميع كبار صغار نساء اطفال كبار بالسن، ما عندهم ولا اي رحمه. تم
كان في
اعتداء
سبب
بالقنابل
بشكل مباشر انه مثلا لانه الناس متوجهه على شمس الكوكب اللي كان عشان يستفزوهم بالمسافات. هل كان في اي تحذير او تنبيه منهم انه يا جماعه اطلعوا من اقصى
دائما
ولا لا؟
بالعاده دائما ما بيكون ولا اي تحذير من الشرطه، بيقتحموا فجاه، بيغدروا فجاه. يعني كان معروف اليوم انه يمشي كاي يوم عادي، بس للاسف انه تم الغدر من قبل الاحتلال وتم قمع كل المصلين الى خارج المسجد الاقصى لفترات. بعد الفتره هاي تم ادخال بس على كبار السن والنساء، اما الشباب فتم ابعادهم.
دخلوا على المصلى زي هذيك المره ب 28 رمضان.
مزبوط، دخلوا على المصلى القبلي لانه اغلب الشباب لما صار الاقتحام صار اقتحامين، اقتحام من باب السلسله تام واقتحام من باب المغاربه، فكانوا على الشقتين بيضربوا. اللي شقت مصلى القبلي تم حشرهم بالمصلى جوا، انحشروا في المصلى وبلش يرموا عليهم القنابل.
حتى اليوم
حتى اليوم حتى اليوم حتى اغلبيتهم اللي كانوا داخل المصلى هم كبار سن، هم ما بيقدروا يقعدوا في الشمس، بس برضه
تمام. وبعديها الناس ما عادت تروح على حي الشيخ جراح بعد الخمس.
مزبوط، خوفا على حياتهم وانه شافوا ما في رحمه بيضربوا صغار. وطبعا في انا كمان عندي صور على الكاميرا بتبين انه الاطفال خوفها قديش كانوا خايفين منهم، بس لحد الان ما نشرت ولا شيء.
لما تبعتهم ان شاء الله بنشوفهم اكيد. تسمح لي هلا
ان شاء الله
طبعا. So he told me a brief of what was happening. Please guys listen and let's mark this moment. Basically what he was mentioning that it was 2 a.m. Jerusalem time when the victory was announced for the Gaza ceasing the fire attack, and people were actually celebrating up to Fajr and staying up. They were getting ready, dressing as if it's Eid. They were even doing takbirat al-Eid, Allahu Akbar. Okay. After that, no one was expecting that the attack would be happening, and they agreed to go to Aqsa Mosque because it's Jum'ah prayer. Adding to this, the victory that happened, the people were gathering in Al-Aqsa. They want to pray, they want to celebrate, and to chant for the people back in Gaza. After Salat Jum'at and the khutbah, they were outside protesting, having the flags and just thinking and calling for Gaza, and that's it. Out of nowhere, suddenly, the forces came and people were trying to go out from Al-Aqsa Mosque to walk and continue this protest up to Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood to support their brothers and sisters in the neighborhood who cannot enter and go in and out freely. So the Israeli forces, they want to stop this protest, and they try to, as I told you before, they surround all the gates, not allowing people to go in and out except from one gate. And this time, they also attack inside the surau. So it's not only in the yards and the garden of Al-Aqsa. It was also inside the Masjid Qibli, which is, mostly was the guys and elderly people praying there, because elderly people, can't really tolerate the sun outside. So they go to the surau inside mostly. And he also said that he has a photograph of the kids' expressions and faces being so scared and afraid, because this attack that happened this morning was actually for everyone, including women, elderly, and kids, not only for the young youth and guys. All right. So they attacked the guys in the Masjid Qibli, and then people were separated, trying to live peacefully. Therefore, our list numbers were gathering in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood after this, and we could have seen Muhammad when he was with us before this in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. There were no Palestinians. They're all Jewish people gathering there for peace, because the forces will not attack them. So they wanted Palestinians to be terrified, to get scared for their kids and their parents, so they cannot join this protest again. And that's why the families actually, they went back their homes. That was what happened. عندك إيش ثاني بتحب تضيفه يا محمد أو شيء؟ أنا ترجمت كل شيء حكيته هلا.
تمام. طبعا بعد هيك في حد منهم.
Why don't you ask him about that one soldier that ran off? Does he know anything about that situation?
I will ask him. Okay. انتشر فيديو لجندي قاعد عم يركض بين الناس كأنه عم
مظبوط.
بعدين طالع على الدرج
دفعوه.
فهي شو قصته؟ ليش كان اصلا عم يركض؟ هو خايف، عم يعمل فتنه اصلا
طيب
ولا؟
هذا الشيء اللي بيبين قصه الغدر كلها. كانوا الناس عمالهم بيصلوا وبيهتفوا، يعني الهتافات حتى ما فيها اي شيء، بس هتاف الله اكبر، لبيك يا اقصى، بنروح نفديك يا اقصى، ورفع علم فلسطين لا غير. مره واحده ما بنلاقيهم بيدخلوا من ابواب المسجد الاقصى ركض انهم يحاولوا يعتقلوا الشباب اللي هم رافعين علم فلسطين. هاي الركضه كلها للهجوم على الشباب.
اوكي. تخيل هم وصلوا المعلومه لهم للناس انه مثل احنا اللي هجمنا عليه، هو الزلمه كان قاعد عم يمشي عم يهرب منا.
لا ما كانش يهرب، هو طالع عماله عم بيحاول ياخذ الشباب او انه يحصرهم.
اوكي.
بس طبعا الشباب هم بيعرفوا انه هذا الشيء والهجوم، عارفين انه هذا له، فهم ردعوه عشان ما يقدر يوصل للشباب. فهيك الشباب عمالها بتحذر بعض انه ينتبهوا، حيصير اقتحام للشرطه، انه ما يقدروا يعتقلوا اكبر عدد من الشبان او لا سمح الله يضربوا على الغدر. فهذا كان تنبيه لكل الشباب.
اوكي بالضبط، اخر الموضوع شوي.
ايوه بالضبط.
As we mentioned, the Israeli forces, they suddenly came to invade Al-Aqsa, correct? So that guy who was in the video, he was one of the first guys, soldiers I mean, to come into Al-Aqsa. And they intentioned, everyone, Palestinians know among themselves that anyone who raised the Palestinian flag in Jerusalem, as I told you, is not allowed. And they can arrest you. It's a crime to raise your country flag. Anyone who is just chanting and people are repeating after him like Labbaika ya Aqsa or we free Gaza or whatsoever, these guys specifically, they will get arrested. So they knew that soldier who was running, he is going to arrest anyone from those who are singing or raising the flag. That's why they stopped him in order to give other sign to run away or to let down the flag. So it was a sign. That's why he pushed him. And following that soldier, many more, they came and they were trying to arrest as many Palestinians as possible. Just now, I told you there were 20 guys arrested, including 7 kids. When I mean kids, it's anyone who's below 18 years old. Yeah. Do you have any question for him specifically? He have many things to say, but maybe we can ask as well.
Let me translate for you nak translate ke I translate?
Saya punya BM lagi barai.
Lagi dahsyat ya, okay. So
محمد حيترجم ماليزي أول بعدين نشرح.
So apa Kak Lin?
مش فاهم كمان مرة.
حيترجم ماليزي بعدين نرجع ثاني.
ولا يهمك.
عشان
تمام.
Okay. So apa Lin cerita tadi, so cerita dia daripada brother ni sekarang kat Palestin, dia kata bila diorang dapat news tentang ceasefire tu, diorang rasa itu adalah satu kejayaan. Diorang dapat benda tu, news tu pada pukul 2 pagi. Dari pukul 2 pagi lagi, bila semua orang tahu pasal benda tu, ramai orang dah keluar kat rumah dah celebrate, dah takbir, dah solat sujud 2 rakaat, dan macam-macam dah diorang buat. Diorang celebrate kejayaan tu daripada pukul 2 pagi sampailah ke subuh. Semua dah jalan pergi kat Al-Aqsa untuk solat dan sebagainya. Dan diorang adalah buat protes-protes kat luar tu. Tapi bukan dengan protes dengan keganasan. Tapi peaceful protes. Diorang nyanyi, diorang makan, diorang celebrate lah macam celebrate raya macam tu. Dan diorang berniat, bertujuan untuk solat Jumaat kat depan gate Sheikh Jarrah punya neighborhood. Tapi diorang tak dapat lakukan tu sebab diorang dah kena attack dah dengan Palestine Israeli soldiers. And the reason was, so tadi kan awal-awal, for those of you who just joined us earlier, Caprice showed us a video that dia hantar kepada, banyak video yang kita dah kongsikan atau dah dikongsi dekat Instagram, tunjukkan apa kejadian yang bila keganasan berlaku from the attack from the Israeli soldiers in Aqsa Mosque kan. So Caprice sent this to the Israeli friends that he I don't say friends, the people that he's
no, I want to be friends lah.
Lepas tu dia cakap lah, okay, explain lah benda ni. Korang kata ada ceasefire kan, so kenapa sekarang ni korang attack? Ni bukti dia, so explain benda ni. Dan diorang reply benda tu, diorang cakap, okay, this looks bad, nampak teruk sangat benda ni, tapi korang kena faham, polis ni adalah untuk menjaga keselamatan. Dan diorang attack sebab diorang polis-polis ni diserang oleh orang-orang Palestin. Tu pasal video tu diorang bagi ke Pris satu video ni. Ada satu military officer seorang-seorang pakai uniform, dia duk lari seorang-seorang macam kononnya takut sangat lah tu. Dia macam ketakutan sangat. So benda tu kelakar sangat. Tunjuk ke video tu.
So just to let you guys know, betul, Caprice memang suka bash artis-artis Israel. So kita memang tak malu, kita belasah je diorang. And then diorang tunjuk Caprice video ni dah. Dia kata benda ni berlaku sebab there's a group of, bukan semua, but there's a group of people yang tengah protes. Biasa orang akan protes. Tapi macam biasa, bila orang protes dekat sana, polis akan askar akan ambil tindakan keras. So this is the video that they share lah. So there's a group of people, bukan semua, ada group people yang saja memang protes, provoke diorang punya askar. So askar diorang ambil tindakan keras. So itulah diorang, ni lah apa yang Kepi kata, benda ni tak akan ke mana bila satu pihak cakap macam ni, satu pihak cakap macam ni, satu pihak cakap macam ni. So dalam diorang memang ada janji Kepi, bukan tentang ni saja. Kita tengah fikir kempen apa sesuai untuk Israel, untuk ubah cara dia orang. So tu yang Caprice, kalau Caprice call dia sekarang, dia akan jawab. Kalau Caprice WhatsApp DM dia sekarang, dia akan jawab. And this is not just one artist Israeli. There's a lot of Israeli artists sekarang yang rajin sembang dengan Caprice melalui DM.
Alright, so I continue dengan ni. So just now I tanya this brother kita yang kat Palestin lah, apa yang jadi, tahu tak pasal kisah tu? So what really happen? Because so far kita belum dapat lagi apa-apa clarity daripada government or official announcement kat sana. So brother ni cakap apa yang berlaku adalah pasal kat sana, seperti ramai tahu, diorang tak boleh angkat pun flag Palestin ataupun sebut macam diorang kan nanti akan canting kan, akan cakap macam okay, selamatlah Al-Aqsa macam tu, ataupun free Palestin macam tu. So orang-orang askar ni diorang akan ambil itu sebagai sebab untuk arrest orang-orang. So Diorang kata, brother ni kata tadi, ada satu orang tengah memegang flag. Jadi dia nampak satu police officer or askar tu nak datang masuk, nak arrest. Jadi apa yang lain-lain buat adalah diorang tahan lelaki tu ataupun stop lah, do whatever it takes untuk stop askar tadi tu supaya yang lain-lain tu boleh larikan diri. So itulah from brother yang tadi itu apa yang terjadi dan mencetuskan kononnya the whole attack again lah dekat